What's going on, Niner fam? It is Peter Lucas, and with me today is Mike Finn. This is the Niner Fanatic Podcast, and I'm here. We're here to talk rookie minicamp season, but I got Mike Finn with me today, Ice Cream Judas for those on Twitter. And Mike, why don't you tell them where they can find you on the socials real quick before we get started?
So like you said, Ice Cream Judas at the bottom of the screen, um, just as it's spelled. And then if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at mfinn FINN 99.
Right on. Hey, I'm happy to have Mike on. I've had you on before, and it was a
Oh
great
yeah,
show then. I'm expecting a great show today. And of course, we're going to talk rookie season. But of course, before we get started with anything Niner related, we got to start talking about Deebo Samuel and his contract news, which there is none right now. We're all in the dark. We're still waiting, and it's probably we're going to be waiting in my estimation. But on
Mhm.
a scale of 1 to 10, what is your worry level that a deal is not going to get done?
My worry level is a one at the very bottom because, and I'll tell you why. I don't I don't really see this being a big issue. I mean, I know we've been combing over every tiny little bit of rumor and all the IG scrubbing and the club videos and all the stuff that we've seen throughout the offseason so far. But Debo's still under contract, so I
Yeah.
he the Niners don't actually have to pay him this season. They could force him to play out his rookie contract and franchise tag him next year and negotiate next year. But if we're assuming a deal is going to get done, which I believe is the case, I had previously said this on Twitter before, and I'll reiterate it. Just like George Kittle and Fred Warner, I believe that his contract is going to get done somewhere between July and August, just like those two guys' contract extensions got done. And we still got to do. I know this is going to be a topic later, but we still got to do with the Jimmy thing. So once Jimmy's healthy, and he's gone, and they can free up some of that money, I assume those things are going to fall like dominoes. So this doesn't worry me at all. I'm not really concerned about it. He did refollow the Niners on Instagram. If that means anything to anybody, I know it does mean some things to people. Uh, I I just I have zero worry about this. Debo's going to play. He's not going to sit out. The new CBA basically made it impossible for players to sit out without losing a lot of money. And if I'm Debo, I come back and I say, hey, let's run it back. And I believe they're going to pay him. And I don't know if they're going to pay him as a wide back. I don't know if they're going to pay him as an elite receiver, or if they're going to match the or play some sort of middle on the Devontae Adams and the Tyreek Hill deals. But Debo's going to get the money he deserves. And
Yeah.
so I really don't have a lot of concern about this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a one also. I'm a one also. It's I just don't think that this is even a story at this point. But of course, because we're in the off season and all we've got to talk about really is rookie mini camps. It's
Yeah.
it's still going to be a story, and it's going to be a story to the national media and the talking heads and all the other. Everybody's going to talk about it, just like we're still talking about Jimmy. But it just comes down to, just like you said, we all know that, and I've said this from the beginning, I've been pretty consistent about it, is that Deebo had no leverage. And I know it was popular at the time to say that he did have leverage, but in my mind, if I think from a business sense, and just like you were talking about the CBA earlier, he had no leverage. And it is what it is. I want the man to get paid, and I can't wait to hear what the contract's going to be. But it would be stupid of the Niners to even get involved in a back and forth with him and his agent over that. They did the perfect thing, that they did exactly what they should have done, which is just be quiet, wait for them to come to the table,
Yep.
and let's negotiate like businessmen. And
Yes.
that's
Exactly.
none of this media nonsense. Let's just get it done. And I'm really confident that it's going to get done. It's just a waiting game, and all of us 49er fans are going to be on pins and needles until it happens. Just like we're going to be on pins and needles till Jimmy gets either traded or released. But moving on to Jimmy, what if Jimmy restructured his deal? Could he be a viable backup for Trey Lance? And do you think that that's even an option?
Well, we discussed this before the show came on, and I'll
Yeah.
reiterate my point. On paper, yes, he could be a backup. He's, led us to a Super Bowl and 2 NFC Championship games. But for Trey Lance's career and Trey Lance's confidence level, and for the simple fact of him not having to look over his shoulder if he throws an interception, or if a ball goes over someone's head, or he's not perfect and his fan base starts booing him in week 1 when he's not perfect. I don't see a scenario where they could just simply restructure his contract, make his cap hit manageable, and keep him. It's just there's just too much politics behind it.
Yeah.
I know some people brought this point up, and I know people don't really care about this, but they did just guarantee. I know Nate Sudfeld is no world beater, and he's no Jimmy G, or he's no starting quarterback, but they did just guarantee $2 million for that guy's contract this year, and that's legit backup money. You don't give that to somebody who might be the third option, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
with that whole deal with Sudfeld, I don't think that he's going to be the clear cut number 2 backup. I think that they liked what he did as far as being the main like clipboard holder, and like helping on the sidelines and that kind of stuff, is like almost like a de facto coach. And I think that's why they kind of gave him his money. But but I don't think that he's terrible. Like, honestly, he's just terrible. And
that's
I don't
funny
think any
'cause I heard
team.
rumors that execs, it's just a rumor, we're saying that he could be a starter in this league. So
No,
I don't know,
they're
man.
lying.
I don't think
They're lying.
that's true. Like I said, it was a rumor. I don't necessarily believe it. I never saw anything in preseason or in practice that would even remotely suggest that that's true. But back to the point, I don't think it's a good idea, even if Jimmy was making $1 next year and there was no cap ramification. Just the simple fact that fans want to win a Super Bowl this year, and they don't really care, at least not in the front of their minds, that they don't really care about Trey Lance's progression and his development, and the fact that it's probably going to take a few years for him to become an elite quarterback in this league. It would just be too much pressure and unnecessary politics in the locker room. I know Jimmy's a big locker room guy and everybody loves him, and that's all well and great. I just adamantly think that having him in the locker room anymore would be a terrible idea for Trey Lance, mentally and career wise.
And I agree. Like, but you got to throw it out there just to see it. Like, because there's a lot of people out there that think that he's going to be on the team come hell or high water, and for whatever reason, I don't know why they think this way, but I just feel it. I think the reason being is because Kyle and Lynch and the 49ers in general don't tell us anything.
Correct.
They don't really tell us anything about anything, and we have to do a lot of speculating and a lot of guessing and what we think is going to happen. And because quite frequently they don't do what we think that they're going to do,
or
and
that they care.
Yeah, and they shouldn't. Like, the reality is they've been to a Super Bowl. They got to an NFC Championship when nobody thought that was even on the table early in the season. And it just really comes down to, I don't think that they haven't had him anywhere near the facility, like to even talk to the players since in this offseason. So like, I think that on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident am I that he won't be on the 49ers? I'm confident at a level 10 right now, like that he's not going to be on the 49ers as soon as he passes that physical. And I think that's a very interesting point, like, that a lot of people aren't bringing up, is that even to get a trade finalized or put through, he's got to pass a physical. Every team is going to want, every team's going to want him to pass a physical before they do any trade. Exactly. So it just is what it is. We have to wait it out. And like to your point, it's just, to me, it's asinine. Like to even think like, and it's exhausting hearing it on Twitter every single day. Like and in the spaces that Trey Lance couldn't beat out Jimmy, and in my mind, he's already beaten out Jimmy. It's not even a question.
He was never supposed to beat out Jimmy last year.
Yeah,
He wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to sit and learn. And if you look at all the other guys that got drafted, I told anybody who would listen before the draft even happened, whoever the Niners selected would have the best career. And now, if you look at Zach Wilson, you look at Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones is probably having the best of those three. But Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are not great positions. Trey Lance wasn't forced to start on a terrible team. He got to sit and be a backup for a Super Bowl contending, well, maybe in the beginning of the season it didn't seem like it, but towards the end it did, a Super Bowl contending team. This is a Super Bowl roster, you know?
yeah,
And if you can draft what I like to call draft and stash, if you can draft a player, especially someone you believe is going to be your franchise quarterback, a guy you can start year in and year out for 10 to 15 years, like the likes of, Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, a guy you know is going to be your starter year in and year out, and you can just build the rest of the team around him. Why wouldn't you give him the opportunity to not go out there and ruin his confidence year one? That doesn't make any sense to me. So this idea that these people, like you said, I stopped going on spaces for this reason, that, oh, he couldn't beat out Jimmy. No, it was never about beating out Jimmy, ever. Trey Lance is not a bust. Kyle did not trade 3 first-round picks, or trade 2 and swap 1, however you want to look at it,
yeah,
to just immediately bench this kid and say, oh, well, we made a mistake right away. No, this is Kyle's guy. This is the guy Kyle wanted. Kyle was not forced. Trey Lance was not forced on the Kyle. Okay. John Lynch does not dictate Kyle's roster to him. That's not the way it goes. I know that's what a lot of people think because John Lynch is the GM. That's not how this goes. This is Kyle's guy. Mac Jones was never Kyle's guy. The media lied to you about that. I don't care what anybody says. So this is who the Niners are going to have. Yeah, Jimmy kind of screwed us, or not us because I don't work for the Niners, but kind of screwed the Niners by waiting until a week before free agency was starting to have this surgery. So now we got to wait till the end of June when he's able to throw. And just like you said, as soon as he passes that physical, the Niners are either going to find a trade partner, which I still think the Panthers are the best option for him, so he can go and start somewhere, or just outright cut him, because you can save $7.5 million by waiting till he's healthy. If you want to lose $7.5 million, you cut him now. That's the impatient move. That's the move all the fans want because they think that we could use that money to go get all these other free agents that we quote unquote missed on.
yeah.
How do we know that we missed on those players? You don't know which players Kyle and John want. It's just assumption. But like you said, unless Kyle and John come out and tell us, the fans just fill in the blanks. And that, in my opinion, is the problem. And that's why we argue, and that's why we go round and round every day on the social medias, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And, but I like it this way. I like the fact that they don't say anything, because then the other 31 teams in the league don't know what we're doing either. And that is the goal. The goal for them is not to appease fans. It's not to appease fans' feelings and so they know what's going on. I know that's what everybody wants. I know everybody wants to know every move we're going to make. I get it. I understand. The unknown is scary. But if you just wait it out, it's only May. I said this back in April. Oh, it's only April. Now it's only May. We still have 1 more month until Jimmy's even allowed to throw the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's able to do that, I firmly believe, and you can call me out and call me all kinds of names on Twitter if you want, if I'm wrong. As soon as he's healthy, he will either be traded to the first team that asks, or he will be released. And then we'll just be like, look, hey, the Jimmy G experiment is over. It's time to move on. But either way, even if you want to play this fantasy game that Jimmy G is going to be on the roster, Trey Lance starts week 1, and I'll stand on any table on the planet and say Trey Lance will start week 1, and I firmly believe that's what will happen.
Yeah, I'm 100% in with you. Like, I just don't even think that this is a story. It's, I mean, it is what it is. People are gonna get upset, and they're just, it's really the national media that kind of spins everything. And honestly, I was one of those people that used to watch ESPN and watch all the sports shows, and I had to catch them every day. Like, and I'd
Oh
sit
yeah,
there and watch,
I was the same
listen
way.
to them on my phone, and until one day I found out that there was this whole other world of podcasts about my team, and that, like, they actually had real information about my team and what was actually going on in the reality, and they thought exactly like I did on a lot of things. So it's just, I think if you listen to the right people, you'll be have a more realistic view of what's going on in the organization. I just think that there's a lot of people that tend to watch a lot of ESPN and Fox and think that they know exactly, like, those guys are literally putting together shows to get you to watch and to get your girlfriend to watch. Like, they don't care about you, they don't care about your team. Like, they
Or
don't
the truth.
they're
They don't, it's
yeah, like, they don't care about the
they're
truth
telling the
either.
truth, bro.
It's literally just to get you to watch. They're gonna say a bunch of things. Skip Bayless has been doing it for years. He's gonna say a bunch of things to get you all heated,
Oh
and,
yeah,
like, that's his style. Like, so, but it is what it is. Like,
yeah.
but so now that we're all amped up, like,
Now
about
we're all
Jimmy,
excited.
let's move on to the rookie minicamp. Rookie minicamp
Yes,
was
sir.
started last Friday, I believe,
Yeah.
and a few guys actually impressed in rookie minicamp,
Hmm.
and a couple kind of look like they made the already. They're kind of looking like they may not look
Right.
like, but this is the thing. It's rookie minicamp. There's so much time.
Right.
There's so much more time for them to learn and be brought up. But there was a couple of guys that looked good and a couple of guys that looked really bad. And which have you? Did you get a chance to see any of the, like, the reports?
Oh yeah. I saw a lot of the videos. I saw the Womack one-handed catch. I saw the videos of Danny Gray. I heard all the reports. I have the list of all the rookies here. W- as far as all the rookies that were drafted, I think to a certain degree, all of them will be on the team from
Yeah,
anywhere between significant starter to a practice squad player. So I'll just go down the list. I have them in list of number order based on their jersey, not drafted. First one's Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I don't expect much from him.
yeah,
More than likely, he'll be a practice squad guy, or we'll cut him. Some people didn't like the fact that we took him. He's, some I saw like one practice throw or two practice throws, and people are like, "That looks exactly like Jimmy. Get rid of him now." So,
yeah,
to be honest, he's neither here nor there. I could really care less. Good for Brock Purdy. He's going to get a parade. I think they still take him to Disneyland or whatever. But if you don't mention Brock Purdy's name ever again, I won't be upset. Um,
yeah, for sure.
the next guy, Samuel Womack. He's my second favorite rookie in this class, behind Drake Jackson, who I'll get to later. Love this kid. 5'9", 198 pounds, runs a 4.3, got 6'3" wingspan. He's basically Quan Williams with longer arms and legit deep speed. I heard Samuel Womack ran toe to toe with Danny Gray uh, in the rookie minicamp. So
Yeah,
that's
I heard that
something.
too.
Yeah, that is something. And then also Tariq Castro Fields, he's not as fast as Womack, but he runs in the 4.4s. This is something the Niners have lacked, top end speed in the
Yeah,
secondary. I know we have a guy like Tavarius Moore, but he's been hurt. But we haven't had this type of cornerback before. I'm a huge fan of Samuel Womack. I think if he comes into camp, has a great camp, he could start at the slot position. Just his pedigree and his measurables alone. I don't want to fall too much in love with just the numbers. I want to see it on the field. But man, and one of the best things I liked about him, I know people love interceptions, but he led his conference 3 straight years in pass breakups.
yeah,
That to me
I
means
saw that too.
That means he sticks to the receivers he's on, and when the ball's thrown his way, he knocks it down. And for me, as long as the ball gets knocked down or the pass doesn't get incompleted, I could really care less. So I'm a huge Womack fan.
Yeah.
This guy.
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Ty Davis Price is the
Mhm.
next one on my list. Third round pick. I know a lot of people think this is a warning to Trey Sermon. I don't necessarily think so. I mean, Trey Sermon does have a lot to show. He definitely needs to stop dancing and learn to hit the holes with a little more regularity, so he can play and get carries ahead of guys like Hasty and Wilson. But I like this guy. This is not your Mostert type of running back. This kid likes to play at 220 and 222, and he's got decent speed. I heard he runs somewhere between a 4.4 and a 4.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I've seen some video.
4.43, I think he was.
Yeah,
he ran.
that's not. I mean, that's not Mostert speed, but that's nothing to frown at. Not only can he thump you, but he can run away from you. I like this pick. I don't think it's a detriment to Sermon. I think if Sermon comes in and has the right camp, it'll be a nice 1-2-3 punch with Mitchell, Sermon, and Ty Davis Price. So I know a lot of people thought that this pick was a little high. Some people said it was like 100 picks too high, but that's based on media draft guides and media rankings. Kyle said this is exactly where he wanted to take him, so I'll take Kyle's word for it. The next guy I have on the list is Tariq Castro Fields. I know a lot of people had this guy graded higher than Womack. Again, he's a bigger corner. He's a little taller than Womack, but he doesn't run as fast. I could see this kid starting on the practice squad and eventually working his way in to hopefully we don't get hurt. But you know how this team rolls. Someone always gets hurt.
That's why they're so deep now, is because
that.
Yeah, that's why they're so deep now, is they plan on injuries now, I feel. So
yeah, and they're deep at the three positions that they were lacking in: offensive line, wide receiver, and cornerback. Another kid I really like, Castro Fields. He could definitely work his way into a dime situation or a rotational fifth. He'll probably start on special teams. He could even sit on the practice squad. But I don't see him beating out anybody above him right away. But he's got good pedigree, and I really like his toughness. He comes from a big school, Penn State. So another really good prospect there. Thank God we got cornerback depth. If I never saw Josh Norman again, it would be a day too soon. We still got Dante Johnson, who is basically like death and taxes. There's two things you can count on. So I'm excited for that kid, but I think he's more of a future pick. And then the next guy, a guy that the Niners were scouting since he was 17. I read his story. A great story. They were actually there to scout someone else, and this kid kept popping up. I can't pronounce his last name, but his first name's Nick. Zekel, please correct me. Zekel J?
Zekel.
Sorry, the J is silent, I guess.
Yeah.
Zekel. Big kid, 6'6". There was rumors that he might get some run at center. I think that's a little tall for a center, but who am I to judge? I think he's going to be more of a guard tackle swing type. I don't see him challenging for a spot immediately, but if he did and he could rectify that right guard position, good for him. I know there's a lot of mystery about who's going to start where and Alex Mack and all that. So I like this kid. They've been scouting him for 4 years. Solid depth piece. If you didn't believe in Jalen Moore or Justin Skoll, definitely gives you more bodies to throw at the position and see who pans out. So I really like that pick also. And then another guy who I think could start immediately at right guard, Spencer Buford. Huge, big, got a lot of positive rookie minicamp run. Grant Cohen was saying a lot of good things about him. He was on this morning and he was raving about him. He was on the podcast with Jose Sanchez, and I love this kid's attitude. I don't know if you've seen that video. I think everybody's seen it. He kind of reminds me of a mini Trent Williams, where he threw that one guy out of the way like
he's just a bully.
He's just a bully. And I guess Trent Williams is one of his idols or one of the guys he patterns his game after. If we had two Trent Williams on this team, I don't care if he plays guard or tackle. Hey, man.
I don't want to put too high of expectation on the kid. Like,
Oh, yeah. No. I know. I'm
you know
trying.
how 49er Twitter gets, and
Oh,
like
God. I know.
we don't
Now he's
need any ice cream Judas
I know.
said that.
Mike Finn lied to me again. He told
Yeah,
me he was going to be Trent Williams. So,
yeah,
no, but high hopes for him. High hopes. I'm not going to put any pressure on that kid, but yeah, more depth, man. More depth to see who we can. To be perfectly honest, I know Aaron Banks was the second round pick last year. Whoever wins these spots because they just outplayed somebody, I really don't care. I just want to have
yeah,
a solid offensive line. We'll get to the center position here in a little bit, but I just want to have a solid offensive line, and whoever plays there, it really doesn't matter to me. I know draft position. I know people lose their mind. Oh, he was drafted here and he didn't play, and he's a bust. Okay, fine, that's great. I just want five
yeah,
great offensive linemen, the best five we can put in front of Trey, so Trey can get as good as he can as fast as he can. So if this guy wins a spot, cool. If not, I think it's a great depth piece.
yeah.
And then the last three are three of my favorites. Danny Gray. I mean, what else can you say about this guy? 4.3 legit 4.3 speed. We haven't had speed like this at this position since Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah.
Taller than Marquise Goodwin. I think he's 6 feet, 6'1", something like that. I've seen him listed as short as 5'11", so I'm not really sure who to believe. So he's probably somewhere between 6 feet and 6'1". Great hands. I know he dropped the ball in rookie minicamp and self-punished himself and did 10 push-ups. You
Yeah,
like to see the
yeah, I heard about
accountability
that
from a
too.
rookie right out of the
Yeah,
gate. That to me says a lot about him. He's going to own his mistakes and hopefully not make them more than once. But yeah, he had a few sound bites that I really liked. He said, if you had a chance to go over the middle or go deep, and he didn't even hit, oh, I'm going deep, man. I'm taking the top off defenses. And with a guy like Trey Lance who's got the arm to get it to him, I don't see him catching a huge amount of balls. I still think he's probably about fourth or fifth on the depth chart, behind obviously Deebo and Ayuk and Jennings. And he also said something that I really liked, and I know Kyle doesn't play his receivers unless they do this. Cough, cough. Ayuk last year. If you don't block in practice, you don't play. He
yeah,
said
no,
his quote was "No block, no rock," and that's
yeah,
exactly right. If you don't block in the run game, you are not going to get the ball thrown to you. So kid's got a great attitude, man. He has Niner written all over him. He's saying all the right things. Guys walking the company line. I dig it. I'm a huge fan of this pick, and I can't wait to see him catch deep balls for touchdowns in the season. Next guy, who I dubbed a sped up DJ Jones, Kalea Davis. I
Khalid
might be
Davis.
murdering his first name.
Yeah,
He is a bowling ball, man. This guy is relentless. Same size as DJ Jones, but he's just even faster. I mean, DJ Jones was quick. He was one of the quickest defensive
yeah,
linemen we had. But this kid is like the Tasmanian devil. He's probably not going to start, obviously. We got too many big names ahead of him, but you get him in the fourth quarter, fourth quarter on a rotation. I
yeah,
mean, who's going to want to chase that kid when they're tired and he's got fresh legs? Nobody.
yeah,
He's going to get some cleanup sacks at the end of games because of that fact. I love his motor. Kid never quits. It just he was my second favorite pick third favorite pick in this draft, behind only Drake Jackson and Womack. But love this kid. He could easily move into a rotation just behind the two starters here in a year or two. So another solid pick. And then the first pick we had, Drake Jackson. Did you see that video today where he was doing like pull-ups, and he was like lifting himself up and like pushing his feet towards the ceiling, like just something
I didn't get to see it much today, but and I know you miss one day of Twitter, and it feels like you miss like a whole year of info, but
right,
I didn't really get a chance to, I was doing a lot of stuff at work today, so I
right.
didn't really get to see much, but yeah, I didn't see that one.
So yeah, he did this thing where he like lifted himself up and then he put his feet over between and like was basically upside down, and then he was like doing them multiple reps. I was like, that's not human.
Yeah.
But it it goes to the one thing that he's been praised for is for his bend, and
Mhm.
the guy is basically Gumby. I believe he's 6'3", about I think he plays at around 275, 280. He reminds me a lot of Dwight Freeney, and I'm not trying to hype this kid up and put him in the Dwight Freeney class just yet. But if you watch his tape and you scrub his name off his back, I mean, he has a lot of similarities to Dwight Freeney. That bend he has around the corner, the ability to dip under the tackle's arm is elite. Niners
Yeah.
haven't had that, and Nick Bosa needs a running mate. He needs another D Ford type. He needs a guy who can play that Leo position that D Ford, when he was healthy, played really well and crushed it, and was a huge key piece to the defense. So I'm excited about Drake Jackson. If he can be half of what D Ford was his first year here, Bosa might have 20 sacks this year. And this, someone said we had 48 sacks last year, and I believe it was Javi asked, "Can this defense get to 50 sacks?" And if Drake Jackson
Yeah.
even has just an average year, let's say he has 6 or 8, I think the Niners not only get 50, but probably get somewhere around 52, 54. Even if you use this guy as a third down pass rusher, kind of like Aldon Smith was used his rookie year, just coming on third downs, no pressure to be great, just go get the quarterback and let the guys in front of you lead the way. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't expect him to come off. I don't expect him to start immediately, but he will have heavy rotational snaps, obviously because of his not only his pedigree and his ability, but where he was drafted. So I loved our draft. I thought our draft was incredible. Um, Obviously, they haven't proved it yet on the field, but I loved a piece of each one of those players, some more than others. But I think all of those guys could have roles on this team in the next few years when guys come and go naturally. So great draft class, great rookie minicamp. And as far as your question about who may or may not stay, I think the only guy on that list that I see totally leaving or not being any significant contributor or not even making the practice squad is Brock Purdy. And I think that
Yeah.
bodes well for the Niners because they drafted all these guys, and I think every single one of them has a spot on this team anywhere from the practice squad to the 53. So
Yeah. I I like I'm gonna go down the list like as you gave a pretty extensive breakdown of these guys, but I'm gonna go down the list real quick. Drake Jackson, I think, has like you were talking about, he looks he looks like a beast, and
oh, yeah,
I think it's only gonna bode well for him that he has Chris Kasurik as his coach. And I mean, everybody goes back to Chris Kasurik, but D'Amico Ryans is going to keep this rotation fresh. You mentioned Kalia Davis earlier, and well, I'll get to him later. But Drake Jackson, like you were talking about, with the bend, and the guy is supremely athletic. That he athletic enough that he was able to drop into coverage, and it didn't look terrible. So
yeah,
it's the kid is versatile. Now the 49ers aren't going to be doing any of that. He's not going to be dropping into coverage on
no,
this team. He's going to get a chance to rush the quarterback. I think that he's going to be that third down type of guy, like the speed guy off the edge. And him and Bosa on the same offensive line. Now, do I expect this kid to just start killing it out the break? Like, I mean, off the start week one? No, I don't. I think that they're going to probably go with Kamiko Trey, like more often than not in the beginning, just because he is a rookie, and Kyle has shown that unless he absolutely has to, he doesn't really like to play rookies.
right.
And I think they're going to give him some chance. A lot of these rookies a chance to develop and to understand the system and to just to get an idea of who they are as players, because they have to realize their own strengths in this league, because once you get into the league, it's a completely different situation than they've dealt with. They've got a lot of small school guys and in this draft, and it's
I like
these
that.
guys are going it's a big jump in talent level.
Mhm.
Like so they're going to have to, as much as you don't scout the team, you scout the player. It's going to come down to they've got to get used to the strength and the speed at this level. And I think that's going to take some time. But I think that they all have good attitudes. I think the 49ers pick a certain type of player, and they pick a player that is tough-minded, is usually tough guys. They're usually bullies, and they're good, and I mean, I don't think we have any malcontents on the 49ers. Like they
Nope.
usually like to pick good people. So,
Yeah,
and
Kyle
almost to a
Allen.
detriment.
Yeah.
I necessarily wouldn't mind having a malcontent on the team if they could get us past the Rams. So it's
Right.
it is what it is. But Drake Jackson, I think, is going to be. I think he by mid-year, I think we're going to start to get to see what he's capable of. But the 49ers are just so deep everywhere. It's going to be tough for him to just kind of break through in the beginning. But I think he is going to eventually by mid-season. And then Tyrion Davis Price. This guy, now I did see a lot of tape on this guy from the rookie mini camp, and I did see what Grant Cohn said about him, and I'm really excited. The more, even though Grant Cohn kind of called him like just another guy,
Right.
I look at this guy and I looked at the tape. He's exactly what Kyle wants Trey Sermon to be, which is stick your foot in the ground and go. Pick a hole, and that's why Elijah Mitchell got the bulk of the carries, is because he sticks his foot in the ground and he just picks a hole and he goes. And now he may not always pick the right spot. Like Elijah Mitchell still has some work to do as far as seeing the play develop, but I think Tyrion Davis Price, I think, is accelerated in that aspect of the game, which I think is going to bode well. And he's not slow, like you mentioned earlier. He's in the 4.4s somewhere. Now I expect him to gain a little bit more weight. I think they're expecting him to be at like 220. I think he came into camp at like 210 or 215, something like that.
Yeah,
But I think that they're expecting him to be in that 220 range. And so he's probably going to end up in the 4.5 range, when all is said and done. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's this running game is all about bludgeoning the other side of the
people
ball.
out. Yeah,
Just wearing them out. And then Elijah Mitchell comes in, who has legit 4.4 speed.
Oh yeah,
and then he can be that home run punch and not take so many hits and run into those walls like he was last season. And then also that's going to open things up it's going to loosen things up for Deebo and Ray McLeod, to get on those sweeps.
Oh yeah.
It's just, and then of course there's Trey Lance just ready to pop off the top of all of it and hit Danny Gray on a streak down the sideline. It's
gonna be pick your poison.
Yeah, it is. If things come together like it looks like it's forming, and I want to give the 49ers some credit for this draft, because I know I was upset. And I know I've mentioned this on past couple of shows. I was pissed, during the draft, and I was watching, and I've talked about this before, but I was watching Jesse Naylor's draft. That he was going over the draft with Niner Nate and them, and it was just, we were all frustrated. We just didn't know what was going on. It just didn't make any sense. But then when we took a step back and kind of just looked at what they did, and then immediately after the draft was finished, all the undrafted free agents that they picked, it started to make sense. They're literally just decided to just build depth. They came up with a pathway to get each one of these guys. I really think that these are the guys they wanted. They weren't waiting for people to fall to them and seeing who fell to them. I think that these are the guys that they wanted, and these are the guys that
didn't make a single trade in this draft, which is the first.
Yeah, they didn't make any trade. I think that these are the guys that they wanted. They just laid out a plan to get to each one of them, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But the next guy I did want to talk about, of course, Danny Gray. I remember Eric Crocker talking about he doesn't play as fast as his 4.3 speed suggests. And they said at rookie minicamp, I don't know if he's been working on it or whatever the case was, but they said he was playing fast. And do I think that this kid is going to be like their third wide receiver? I don't. I think that Kyle is going to I think he's going to have that Travis Benjamin role. And
Yes.
I think that
Correct.
I think that in the beginning, at least, and I think that Kyle is envisioning it as he can just stick guys in certain situations, and I think that that's the way he's going to play it. He's not going to play. I mean, you're going to have Ayuk and Deebo out there at all times, but the rest of the guys, I think it's just going to be a situational. It's what's the situation and what does it call for? What kind of play do I want to run here? And then he's just going to switch around personnel because he had every wide receiver not named Deebo and Ayuk. They're all different skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different skill sets, and it's like, what do you want? What do you want to do? Because if you're slow on defense, then we're gonna bust out a Ray McCloud, and Danny Gray's gonna blow your doors off over the top. And if you're fast, then hey, guess what? We're gonna stick Jawan Jennings out there and just start knocking your teeth in on rundowns, and then until you don't want to cover anybody anymore. So I just think that they're set up for every situation in this receiving core, and it makes me really excited. Spencer Burford. Let me just say about Spencer Burford. I think that this kid is a Kyle Shanahan type of guy. Has tons of personality, and just the nasty streak that you want. He's got, like I said before, he's a bully. And do I think he's going to bully guys right away? No, I don't. I think that once he gets in that NFL weight room and he starts molding his body into the way that to where he can, because I think that's really the way he wants to play. And they're going to give him a pathway to get his body in shape to the point to where he can do that. And I think that once they get that, him and Zakel has kind of shorter arms. So I think that he's stuck at guard. I think he's stuck at guard. He's too tall to be a center, in my opinion.
I agree.
But so I think he's stuck at guard. But Burford, you could do a whole lot of things with Burford. Burford is a freak. And I wouldn't put it past Kyle to put him at tackle at times. And then you've got guys, you've got all the undrafted free agents, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but I mean, you got a guy like Poe that can run routes. He's a center. He's a center and guard. And I mean, he's only 6 feet tall, but the guy can run routes, and he's got soft hands. And
he's 300 pounds.
And 300 pounds. I mean, imagine him split wide out with next to Kittle.
Oh, I love it.
And then you just do a jet sweep with Deebo to that side.
You're talking dirty to me now.
And then you play action off of it, and Jason Poe's going down the sideline just running over corners. It's
trying to tackle him.
Literally, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And do I necessarily think that we're going to see all of that happen? I don't. I mean, it's just too many. There's only so many roster spots in reality. And
correct.
It's
as you carry on Sundays.
I mean, I imagine that they're going to carry at least 10 offensive linemen. And then I imagine that they carried 10 defensive linemen last year. So that's 20 people off of the 53-man roster already. I
don't think they carry 10 on game days. I think it's only 7 or 8, right? Because they usually do.
Yeah, probably. But they keep them on the roster. Well, they had 10. Yeah. They had 10. They were carrying 10 last year on the 53-man roster.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just and I think, and of course they're going to move in and move out, move some guys in and move some guys out, put some guys on injury designations to get so that they don't have to put them on the practice squad and they don't lose the guys. But I think we're going to see a whole bunch of acrobatics as far as that goes. Like as far as them keeping their guys, but I think that you're going to see some guys traded in this offseason.
I think so
Dre
too.
Dre Greenlaw is a prime candidate for that. Like him, and I think there's going to be a couple of other guys that we're going to look at the end of the day, and they may just want to go ahead and get some lower round draft picks, and like I mean, because they've already got like 2 more third rounders in this next year's draft.
Yeah.
And so it's just there's a lot of
Niners are deep, and there's so many options. Like you said, it's going to be fun. If Kyle decides he wants to be, a sadistic coach and bring out 6 and 7 offensive linemen and have Burford and Poe out there running sweeps. I mean, I would love to see that. I mean, I was geeking over that with one of my friends the other day, talking about all the different, could you imagine having Poe, Juszczyk, and Elijah Mitchell all in the backfield at the same time, and you pitch it to Mitchell and you get Poe and Juszczyk to block for you? Good night, anybody who tries to get in front of those two. So I mean, I love it. I love all the things that you could come up with, and I hope Kyle is just as maniacal as I am, and as you are with some of these formations and some of these usages of these offensive linemen. So it's a great problem to have, man. It is.
Yeah, it is.
It is wonderful.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, and I think the thing that get your juices flowing, and I do want to say big up to Last Second Sports Edge Jesse. And like, what's going on, brother? But yeah, I mean, just like we were talking about, what gets our juices flowing and gets us thinking about all these possibilities is the fact that we've seen Kyle innovate in this way, and who knows what it's going to look like now that Mike McDaniel's gone, because the storyline out there is that Mike McDaniel was the big. If you hear the Dolphin fans tell it, like Mike McDaniel was the architect of the whole offense, and that Kyle was just the play caller. And so I'm really interested. I think Kyle is, with his ego, is out to prove everybody that he can do whatever he wants to, whenever he wants to, and he's going to shove it down all of your throats this season. I'm stoked. Like, I'm stoked on all of it.
The possibilities are endless, man. Like you said.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But Rick, which rookie do I think? And the reason why I didn't really mention him is, unless I think, in my mind, I think if Tariq Castro-Fields cannot get in with the safety group, I think he may not make the team, or he's going to go in the practice squad. But I think that because Eric Crocker talked about him the other day and said that he has really good mechanics, for the most part, he says that all the things that he's missing on right now, because apparently he gets burnt on double moves and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
But right now, like he said, that's all stuff that he can work on, and he gets in with these pro coaches, and those are things that can be corrected. But he said what can't be corrected is that guy's speed and his length. So they're probably going to put him. I would think that they're probably going to put him on the practice squad to begin the season and see if he can't pan out. But I think that a lot of people. One more guy I'm going to mention on that was undrafted free agent, Leon O'Neal, that a lot of people on Twitter are like enamored with, and that he was the one with the one-handed catch. And but this is the thing, it was against nobody. Watch the tape. It was nobody was there. He wasn't guarding. But
so it was. They love to hype up practice.
But he's a guy that if he doesn't bulk up and become a linebacker, I don't see him making the team either.
He went undrafted for a reason. So I mean, I love his attitude. He's as positive as it gets, man. Like, he's just like, oh, thank God for the opportunity. I'm going to come in here and work hard. I mean, these are the type of guys you want. Kyle has a type, and this is the type of guy that all of these guys are. They want to come in, they want to work. They're not going to get handed anything, and they don't expect to. This is a Super Bowl roster. These players have no pressure, so they can come in here and just work and learn and get better and not have to worry about being forced into a week 1 starting spot because our roster sucks. So, yeah, a guy like Leon O'Neal, he's people had him as a draftable player. The fact that he went undrafted kind of worries me. So,
But if this is any other season, and this team isn't as deep as it is,
yeah.
I say that I would be like, oh no, he's going to make the team,
Oh, yeah.
and they're going to see what they got in him. But I think that this is one of those. I mean, I've never seen the 49ers this deep in
Nope. This is
like
the deepest they've
so
been ever.
they've always either been top heavy or they've had good guys, but I've never seen them literally this deep to where if they get injuries, they could get injuries across the board and really be fine. They could
Right.
get through a couple of games that way. So
Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think that the league is prepared. I know that the talking heads aren't prepared. They're gonna be upset that they have to learn a bunch of guys' names like Zakel and and
Right.
and Burford
Yeah,
and all
Burford.
these randoms like that the 49ers always pull out. They can't name our guys now. like
No.
let alone like all the new guys. So but I'm excited about it. But do you think there's out of the undrafted free agents, who are you most excited about out of the undrafted free agents?
For the long term, Donovan West. I think
Yeah.
even if Alex Mack doesn't come back, I don't think you plug in Donovan West this year and put a rookie center in front of Trey Lance. But I like him. If he can pan out and he becomes the starting center for Trey Lance for his career, then that's the steal of the draft, in my opinion. Because
Yeah.
other than left tackle, center is the most important position, especially when you have a guy like Trey Lance who's just starting out. But my favorite, and we just talked about him, was Jason Poe, just because of all the ways you can use him. He is short. He might only be able to play center. I'm not sure. A bunch of people are saying he's a little too small for guard. Even if he doesn't play center, if you just want to bring him in there as a sixth offensive lineman or a pseudo fullback and run some wild running plays, I'm all for that. If that's all he's good for, fine. I am okay with that. He looks like a lot of fun. So if you can get a 300-pound fullback with those kind of feet and that kind of speed, God bless any God bless any cornerbacks and safeties that try to tackle that kid. So yeah, those are my two favorite.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna go with Donovan West. I mean, everybody that's been watching my show has known that I've been talking about Donovan West since January, and like I love this kid. I think that he has a chance to be on this team for the foreseeable future, at least the next 10 years. And I was I didn't understand what was going on, like during the draft, that nobody was picking him, and but I was so stoked when I saw that we got him as undrafted free agent. But I think he's the most pro ready guy that out of those undrafted free agents that they got. I think he's the most ready to go. And I would like to see, I want Mac to come back, obviously, because I don't know if he's going to be ready to, I don't know if I want a rookie center in there with essentially a rookie quarterback, but
right.
But the reality is that he is athletic. He's got I feel like he has the size. They'd say that he doesn't have enough size. I think for a center, I think he has plenty of size for a center. And I think that he's going to get in the weight room, like I said about Burford and them, and he's probably going to put on some pounds. So and I mean, he's used to running this scheme in college, so he's the most ready out of all of them. But the other guy that I liked out of the undrafted free agents was I actually like two guys. Jeremiah Gemmel. He's a linebacker out of North Carolina, and they have him listed as a fullback right now, but he was a linebacker. He was a linebacker in college. I can't imagine them changing him to fullback, but the guy he's one of those try hard players that, like Leon O'Neal, that you just want to see the guy do well. And he's going to go all out. and it's going to be I'm pulling really hard for that guy. And then there's another guy that Jordan Mason, running back at Georgia Tech.
Oh yeah.
Like Trey Sermon better show something in this camp. I'm just going to let you know right now, because Jordan Mason is almost a TDP clone. Like he is, they're almost the same player that when you watch him on tape. Like so to have two of those guys, how many of those types of guys do you need? Like I mean, he's 223 pounds, 5'11", and like and he can catch. He can catch the ball. TDP it kind of leaves a little bit to be desired as far as natural. He doesn't really have natural hands, but Elijah Mitchell surprised me a little bit last year with that aspect of his game, is that he could, the 49ers, realistically speaking, they just don't throw a lot to their running backs. And it'll be interesting to see if they kind of add that to the offense. But yeah, Jordan Mason, I'm really looking forward to watching that guy. But I love Jason Poe also. There's a lot of guys in this undrafted free agents to like. And Sam Schluter out of Minnesota was another guy. But yeah, like those are my main two. So schedule released. We had the schedule released last Thursday. It's a tough schedule for the 49ers, and I think people need to be a little bit realistic as to the record. We've seen the full spectrum. You've got Nick Wright on Fox News saying that we're going to go 14-3.
I saw that.
Then you've got this other guy on Twitter who I really don't even want to give any shine. Like, but the whole 49ers nation went against him because he said that we were going to be 8-9.
JD.
Like, and I think a realistic goal is, I think that they're going to be around 10-6. 10-6 to 11-5, somewhere.
There's 17 games.
11-6, so it'd be 10-7 and 11-6. But I think it's going to be 10 or 11 wins, is what I'm saying. So it's going to be, but obviously this is a way too early prediction because we don't know. There was one team, I think it was Tariq Cohen, he's already gotten hurt. He's already out for the season.
I saw that. Poor
guy.
And
you're going to see some of that where and we'd be stupid as fans to not think that might happen to one of our guys. It happened to two of our guys last season in school and Travarius Moore. And so we have to temper our expectations because we don't know what team is actually going to run out there come week one. But I think it's a way too early to kind of really predict how many wins we're going to have. But right now, if I'm looking at the team the way we are right now, I think it'd be 10 to 11 wins. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that's the number that I came up with when you gave me that question earlier. That could easily win this division. It might take 12, depending on how good the Rams are. I definitely think this division is weaker this year than it was last year. You never know. You don't know what the Cardinals are going to do after the little spat with Kyler Murray. Seattle's basically hit the reset button, traded away Russell Wilson, and it looks like for better or worse, they're going to roll with Drew Lock. Good luck with that, Pete. We're going to find out real quick if Pete was the reason why they were good or if it was just Russell Wilson. So good luck to Pete on that one. And of course the Rams, they have lost more than they gained in free agency.
Yep, absolutely.
Their draft their first pick wasn't until the third round. The only thing I saw that they did was they took two offensive linemen. They did lose a Hall of Fame left tackle, and I think they lost a guard as well. But if you talk to Rams fans, the backups are just as good as the guys that were there last year. So who knows how good their offensive line is going to be. I'm only going to say that they're going to be just as good as they were last year because I don't want to sound like a hater. But as far as I'm concerned, their roster does not look nearly as scary. Of course, they still have Cooper Kupp, But they lost Robert Woods. They traded him to Tennessee. OBJ popped his knee in the Super Bowl, and he won't be available till mid-season, and there's no guarantee he's coming back to LA. I know a lot of teams are recruiting him currently, even though he's out. So, I don't know how good the Rams are, but this division could easily be won with 10-7, 11-6. So I like that prediction. That was a prediction I came to. Could the Niners go 14-3? That would require a lot of health. That would require a lot of health, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you alluded to, we have this horrible, horrible habit of getting injured for no reason, just for no reason at all, and it's always some random thing. It's never normal, like blowing out 2 ACLs in New Jersey when Solomon Thomas and Nick Bosa did it on like 2 consecutive plays or whatever it was.
That was just nasty.
Oh yeah. I hope you never have to play there ever again. And God bless the teams that have to play on that for home games. But yeah, I really think the Niners have a hell of a shot at winning this division, and I don't want to put any undue pressure on Trey Lance. All Trey Lance has to do is do what Kyle tells him to, and I could easily see this team winning 10 or 11 games. 14 would be an absolute amazing season, but I'm not gonna jump off that ledge just yet.
Yeah, for sure. And I like now when I look at because people need to understand that we don't just have our division to beat. We also have to play the AFC West, and which you would think Seattle finally got rid of Russell Wilson. Think, oh well, so we won't have to see that guy 2 times a year, but we're gonna still somehow have to see him once.
Yep.
I would rather just not see him at all, because he is the boogeyman for the 49ers. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad Russell Wilson is playing for anyone. It doesn't matter how bad he's playing. He's always going to play up to for the 49ers. It's baffling. I just don't. It just makes me sick to my stomach every time every time, like last season. Everybody in the spaces was talking about, oh yeah, we're just going to light them up. They stink this year. And I said, nah, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson never stinks against us. So yeah, but I look at that game. What I do enjoy about this, what I did like about this schedule was that the first 2 games are definitely winnable. And with the Bears and I'm trying to remember who the second. I should have pulled up the list.
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah, Seattle. Well, now that they don't have Russell Wilson, those are our two first games, and those are totally winnable. And I think it gives Trey a chance to get his feet wet, build some momentum, get some momentum with the team, build some chemistry, and to the point to where they're not even thinking about Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. And then we can hit the ground running against Denver, because Denver has a squad. Denver has a squad. I mean, their defense, their corners are nice. Their defense is going to be nice. Their receivers they have a really good receiving core, and they finally have a quarterback to get those guys the ball. And then we've got other teams, like we got the Chargers, who everybody seems to think is going to do something this season. I'm not convinced of their coach myself, but
on paper they're loaded. But
they're loaded though.
Oh yeah,
they're loaded.
It's ridiculous. They've loaded up everywhere. Speaking of cornerback depth, they have one of the best. They probably have the best secondary on paper in the entire league.
Yeah, for sure. But I agree with what you said earlier about the Rams. I feel like they lost 11 players, and they got back 4 or 5.
Bobby Wagner and Allen Robinson. For their big free agents.
And I mean,
neither of those guys
not to poo-poo Allen Robinson, but the guy, and he's been able to stay healthy the last couple of years, but he's had an injury past, and then also I don't think that he is what OBJ gave them. He's
They lost
he
Robert Woods and
I
OBJ.
feel like he's Robert Woods. Like that's the way I kind of look at him. Everybody is like, "Oh, how could you say that about Allen Robinson? This, that, and the third." Like
Oh, yeah.
I get it. Like Allen Robinson is a good player, but he's not a take over the game type of receiver in my mind. Then now they have Cooper Kupp. Like now that guy, we have yet to be able to guard a slot fade from that guy. Like, but I think with the guys that we have on in this secondary this season, I think it's going to be a little bit of a different story this season because we've got some speed now in the secondary, and I think that that playing the Rams is going to be. I think that they're gonna go back to what they do best, which is bully ball. But I think now we have a quarterback that can buy some time and make some throws. And I think that is going to be the huge difference is keeping the defense off the field. Last year, our defense had to carry us through games over and over and over again. Defensive line that we needed that rotation because they were going to be on the field a majority of the game. But it's going to be a completely different story, and I am here for it. Like us all day, every day. I'm so excited about this season. I just want us to get through all these training camps unscathed because I really want Kyle to have his full arsenal at his disposal and just be able to just unload on the league and show the league that he is in my mind, he is the best coach that in the league to me. Like to be able to get what he got out of Jimmy Garoppolo, like tells me that he is. I just don't see anybody being able to do it with that limited of a quarterback. So, but which game do you see as the toughest game with this schedule and and maybe your most anticipated game?
Toughest game, right off the bat, I'm gonna say the Chiefs. I'm not gonna call it the revenge game. I'm not gonna say it's a Super Bowl redemption. I've moved on from that. It is what it is. We didn't win. Okay. I think it's gonna be the toughest, simply because it's Trey Lance against Patrick Mahomes, and it'll be a huge marker for Trey Lance in his early career. He might look back on this game as in 5 years and say, hey, this is one of the marquee games of my first year starting, where I really showed the league what I could do. But I think that game's still going to be tough. They might not have Tyreek Hill, but I think that's going to make them even more dangerous because now they're forced to spread the ball around. Now they're not as dynamic. They still have Hardman. Hardman has Tyreek Hill X speed. He might be about this much slower than him, but Tyreek Hardman is a absolute burner. So I think they could use him in the Tyreek Hill role. I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill, but they can use him as that if they want to. And last time I checked, Travis Kelce hasn't died yet. And they revamped that offensive line. They have 5 new start. They got 5 new starters last year to protect their $1 billion or their $500 million asset in Patrick Mahomes. So I think that's going to be the toughest game on the schedule, at least early. And my most anticipated game, strictly because of who's quarterbacking and because he's, in my opinion, the GOAT, is Tampa Bay. That's my most anticipated game. I'm really excited to see that game. That is also right around the last quarter of the season. I believe it's the 4th to last game. That could have huge NFC playoff implications if both teams are still in it, obviously. Both teams are healthy. And you could see like I said, that is around the point where you're about 4 games left. You're about 12 games in, 13 games in. And, you're going to have already found out what Trey can do and what Trey can't. He's already made a lot of mistakes, already made a lot of good plays. Depending on where our record is, it could be a very, very pivotal NFC standings game. So I really like that it's towards the end of the season. So that is my most anticipated game, strictly because of what it could possibly mean, depending on how well we do this year. So I'm very excited. And of course, hey, it's Tom Brady, man. If you I'm not a Bucs fan, but anytime you get to play Tom Brady, you at least want to stand on the sidelines and watch. And He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So I'm ecstatic for that game.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm like you had exactly my two games also. It's for me, Kansas City, that's the game of the season for me, just because it's Trey getting a chance to play against Pat Mahomes, and I just want to see what it looks like. I'm really interested in, like you said, it's kind of later on in the season a little bit, and like he's already gotten his feet wet. We already kind of know what the offense will be at that point, and I just want Kyle to get a chance to get a rematch with not as much on the line, just so that he can kind of get his confidence up, just in case we have to see that team later. And and then also, like Tampa Bay, I've been a Brady fan. Since he's been in the league, and before that, because I'm a Michigan fan.
Okay.
And it's I've always liked Brady, and it's of course I'm a 49er through and through, but I mean, part of me always just kind of rooted for Brady, and it's gonna be I want to see him play the night. I think the last time, I can't even remember the last time we played him, but I think the
It
last time
was
we played him,
was it the Kaepernick game?
yeah, I think so. And I think we just kind of ran them out of the building, if I remember correctly.
We might have played them another time after. I think we played them another time after that. But
We probably
the
did. We
other,
probably got ran, because we had some bad years. So
yeah,
there's odds are we got beat by him at some point. But when we're good, that's when I want to play. When I want to play Brady, just because the guy is
and we could put those rumors
greatest.
to bed if we beat Brady that we didn't really need to get him. So fans are
Yeah,
definitely going to use that game as a marker because they're going to be like, oh well, if Tom Brady beats us, oh well, we should have got Tom Brady and
for
bench
sure.
team.
So
But if Trey Lance beats him, then we're like, oh well, fuck Brady, whatever. So, so
yeah,
that's
it's
going to be a game fans are going to be very interested in, so they can be like, oh, see, I told you so.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the reality is I mean, I understood why they didn't get Brady. I know that that's not a popular take. I understood why they didn't go after Brady.
Yeah, me too.
Because nobody is going to throw the house at especially not in the 49ers position, just coming off a Super Bowl. You're not going to throw the house at a 40 plus year old quarterback. You're just not going to do it.
And
And
Kyle's not
was it the right
gonna.
decision? Who knows?
Yes, and Kyle's
But
also not
we have
going
Trey
to.
now.
Right, exactly. And Kyle was never going to let Tom Brady run his offense because Kyle's ego is too big. So I don't think a lot of people considered that part because Brady likes
Yeah.
his own offense the way he likes it, and Kyle runs his offense the way he likes it. So I honestly think those two would have butted heads a lot, and I'm pretty sure that's why they didn't pursue him.
And it could be. It could be. I'm just looking at the situation. I know that Brady got a ring with Tampa Bay, and could that have been us? It could have been.
Could have.
But I'm more about sustained success. I want to see the 49ers in the playoffs every single season.
Correct.
And it's all I ask of this regime is that we get to the playoffs. Because once you get to the playoffs, as we saw last season, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
We beat two of the best offenses in the league this year as the 6th seed. So Dallas and Green Bay, nobody had us beating them, and we beat both of them. Dallas was the highest scoring
in
offense.
Lambeau. In
Lambeau, in the snow, and in Dallas, against the highest powered offense in the league, and we held them to 17 points.
Yeah, man.
That's not a coincidence. So it really doesn't matter what our seed is. Bully ball reigns over all of these
over everything.
In my opinion,
hitting people in the mouth is still reigns supreme, always
and forever.
But hey, bro, I loved having you on today. Love talking the rookies. Love talking about all things 49ers. And I appreciate you coming on. Why don't you let them know one more time where they can find you and on all your socials?
Hey man, this was a great show. Not that the last one was bad, but this is the best of the two so far, and I hope I can come on again throughout
for
the
sure.
season and keep chopping it up with you, man. You're a good dude. You got a great show, and anybody who's watching, please subscribe to Peter's all Peter's links, all Peter's pages. I believe this is on YouTube as well. Subscribe to that page. He's a solid guy, and he puts on great shows every week. So you can find me on Twitter at the at Ice Cream Judas on the screen, and if you want to find me on Instagram, I'm mfinn FINN 99. So thanks again for having me, Peter. This was a great show. Love talking, and see you soon.
Yeah, and for sure, like I'm gonna have you back on. Like I love all my guys, you, Jesse, TL,
Oh yeah.
Jamal, all my guys. Like and if I didn't mention your name, it's because it's like we got to get out of here at some point. Like so,
No problem.
but yeah, I appreciate all you guys, and I appreciate all the people that are watching and all the new subscribers. I appreciate all the old subscribers, and I appreciate all the people that have been following me on Twitter. But yes, you can find me on Twitter in the spaces. I'm on like pretty much every day, like at Peter Lucas 8 on Twitter. I'm kind of on IG, but not really. And so I'm not even going to mention IG.
As much either.
And but you can find me this on YouTube, Niner Fanatic Podcast, and I'm gonna try and do some more content but it's just finding the time, finding the people that are like-minded, and but we're going to get there. But I appreciate all you guys out there, but remember, you can catch the audio version of this on Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, and Anchor. So thank you guys once again, and always go Niners.
Go Niners. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you, brother. Where is it? Oh, I lost it.